Hey guys, Cal here. It's time for a end of year list, and this is my top 20 albums of 2025. So starting off at number 20, we have Hannah Francis and her album Nested in Tangles. There's cerebral poetic lyrics, layers and polyrhythms used in this production. There's so many things going on at once. It is definitely worth a listen. The lyrics are just so good. You're almost enveloped in sound in this one. It's a real headphones album, and I highly recommend it for anybody who likes Weather Station, Julia Holter, Jenny Haval, artists like that. I think they would get a good kick out of this if they haven't already. Number 19, Love Is Noise. Okay, the new Love Is Noise album is unbelievable. They do what they do best. It's the, your shoegaze, effects, pedal-driven guitars, the earnest lyrics, big melodies with modern production. It harkens back to all the best things that you might like about a band like Swerve Driver or My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, these sort of things. If you're a fan of those bands, you should definitely get into this new Love Is Noise album. It's unbelievable. So that's number 19. Number 18, Cowards by Squid. Fastly becoming one of the most influential post-punk UK bands in the last sort of 7 or 8 years. This album came out at the start of the year, so it was in January, and I went back to it quite a bit. You've got everything that Squid is known for, the angular riffs, understated production as well, pacing that is so interesting in their arrangements because they like to hold back a lot of stuff and build to things. So quite often the tracks will finish in these crescendos, which are just like really, really cool. And they really sort of start from somewhere and then they go up. I really like this. I didn't like this as much as the last album, but I continually went back. So, Cowards, Squid. Give it a listen. Number 17, Renee Rapp. So you have all your pop stuff. You've got Kesha coming back. You've got, people like Annie Hamilton. There's so many CMAT. There's a lot of these female artists that's making great pop at the moment. And Renee Rapp's no stranger to that. There's just no nonsense, wall-to-wall bangers, just delivered with an attitude that she has in spades. And I dare anybody to give this a listen and not at least pop their head at a few times here. Like, this is anthemic and just badass, really. So, yeah, I'd definitely give that a listen. Number 17. 16, coming in at 16 is Aussie band Tropical Fuckstorm, TFS, with Fairyland Codex. They are iconic right now. The 4 or 5 releases in, some of the members from the iconic indie band The Drones make up sort of half of this band. And, what they do is they play with lots of sort of swampy blues grooves, and as well as they're groovy, they're also quite punishing. And Gareth Lydiard's lyric writing is really transgressive and it's probably not for everyone, but just, my God, do they have a lot of power, this band. I saw them about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they're one of the best live acts going around in Australia at the moment. They're just unbelievable. So I highly recommend that you check them out if you get a chance. And Fairyland Codex is really, really cool. Coming in at number 15, Swans, the new album from Swans called Birthing. Right, this is I believe, the last iteration of Michael Gira's Swans. I don't know what he's doing after this, but he made all intentions known that he's going to give this a rest for a little while, whilst he has had his, I don't know how many configurations of this band he's had. I mean, there's been at least sort of 8 or 9 configurations of the lineup over the years, since sort of like the early 80s when they were doing their no wave stuff. But I think this album will stand the test of time with some of the best stuff that they did across all the eras of Swans. Even considering that they've been around since sort of 1982, 1983. There's some stuff on this album that is, it has their trademark sound. It's the transcendental. It's punishing. It's straightforward. But it's complex. It's beautiful, but it's ugly. All the hallmarks of Swans is in this album. It is hard work, as most Swans albums are. Most Swans tracks are, but this is definitely one I went back to quite a bit this year. Swans, Birthing on Young God Records. Number 14, Danny Brown. Danny Brown is always going to show up on a list whenever he releases something, and that's my bias, I guess. So that's no surprise. What is maybe a surprise is its placement on the list not being higher. But having said that, it was quite a strong year for stuff that came out, and his brand of idiosyncratic rap, he is the best to ever do it, and he's ever reliable. And Stardust is a testament to his creativeness and his willingness to forge forward a career that's just unclassifiable, really. And he's going to continue to enrich the lives of everybody who listens to him and embraces his artistry. So get onto that. Stardust, Danny Brown. Okay, at number 13, I have an album which is a collab with, and I'm going to say this wrong, but it's Sylvie Corvaisier. I've said that wrong. I'm sure I've said that wrong. And Mary Helverson. And it is a really, really good album. If you're looking for some good contemporary jazz, this duet album, it's quite slow in places, but the playing gets under your skin. That's what you kind of want from a jazz album. It's not so much about tunes and bangers, but you want to be able to see the playing come to the forefront of the recording, and I think they both do this with this album. Mary Helverson is no stranger to my collection, because I have quite a lot of her recordings, and she's just a phenomenal guitarist. One that has had plaudits from so many different people across different genres that she's become sort of a name in certain circles, and I suggest everybody have a look at that if you are into jazz. That's number 13. Alright, coming in at number 12 is Clipse. Okay, so what a surprise, and it just comes, after these long hiatuses and so much time between releases, that you were just getting the gold standard in beats and bars. You could lift any beat of this thing and you'd just be like, what the hell? Like, the production is just off the chain, and you can't tell me that, like, in another 10 years' time, when another Clipse release comes out, you can't tell me that that's not going to be good. Like, because they've proven that they just go away and then come back, and it's just like they've never gone. So you'll know it. I'm pretty sure this has been a popular album. So, but if you haven't, please listen to it. Number 11, Maruja. Powder Paint is an unrelenting masterpiece of, post-hardcore, no wave, heavy. There's so many things going into this. There's a fusion of things going on, and it's just absolute madness. It just doesn't let up for the whole runtime. Like, it's just taking you on a journey that, and you'll never be the same after. It's absolutely astounding. And for anybody that likes heavy stuff, but they also like even math rock. It's sort of got hints of math rock as well. Like, there's so many things in here that if you're a person who's across a few different genres and you like the sort of genres, you just get a lot out of this, and it's fantastic. So 11, and that's Maruja. We're into the top 10. All right. So the top 10 shifted around. Okay. So 20 to 11 kind of stayed where it was. Okay. And then things came up that I wasn't expecting, and very late in the year. So instead of what sort of a lot of people tend to do is do their end of year lists at the end of November, because releases dry up in December. Instead of doing that, I just kept listening to stuff up until now, and as of this recording, it's Christmas Eve. So, so many things shifted around, new things were added in, things were taken out. It was just such a strange year for music, because it was just so... I was so indecisive about how I was rating things. But this is the top 10. So basically, this is what we'll go with now. Number 10, Private Music, Deftones. You know them. Iconic. Iconic new metal, if you want to call them new metal, alt rock, whatever. It doesn't matter what they're labelled at. They are phenomenal. To have an album as strong as this, decades into their career, is nothing short of just an astonishing... It's a testament to what they've been able to do. Okay, the 2020s release, Ohms. I actually felt the same about that, but then 5 years on, and we've got Private Music, and it's better. It's unbelievable how good Private Music is. You like Milk of the Madonna, Infinite Source. I mean, there's tracks that are just... Infinite Source in particular will be one of the tracks that they will be remembered for. Okay, now in the grand scheme of their canon, they will be remembered for, Be Quiet and Drive, Change in the House of Flies, and with the albums that, they'll definitely be remembered for White Pony, Around the Fur, those early albums. But there are tracks on this that will go down as being the all-time greatest Deftones tracks, and I don't know if you can say that about any other band. Well, there's very, very little bands that are getting around that are making career best works this far in. So that's Deftones, Private Music, number 10. Now you need to look at getting into clipping. If you haven't already, then you're like... The boat hasn't sailed, but it's unmooring as we speak. I mean, there's already 3 or 4 releases out, and I don't know, like there's so much frenetic stuff going on here. There's pitch perfect bars and flow. There's pitch perfect beats. There is interesting subject matter. There is top level production on this thing. If you're a person who is like into Danny Brown and Death Grips and stuff like that, JPEG Mafia, if you haven't heard Clipping, what are you doing? You need to get into this band because they're phenomenal, and check out the Tiny Desk concert as well. Tiny Desk concert is chef's kiss. Number 8 is one of my long-time favourite bands. It is Deafheaven with their album Lonely People with Power. I went on record in a few places, namely Reddit subreddit forums, which is, probably the worst place to voice your opinion on these things. But I went on record to say that I thought Infinite Source, their last album, really did not do much for me at all. It was like Deafheaven have sort of sanded away all of the sort of the post-metal, black metal stuff, the aggressive vocals from George Clark and all these other things, and they just made basically a shoegaze album, which in itself isn't really an issue. It's something that I thought I would have been interested in, with basically all clean vocals. However, I felt like the material wasn't there, and so this time around, they've been able to sort of, and I don't want to say it's getting back to their roots either, but they are taking what made them popular and a force, like sounds from like the Sunbather album, New Bermuda, and Ordinary Corrupt Human Love. I think I've said that title right. They've taken the best parts of those albums and they've incorporated it into this album, and it's just phenomenal. I just can't get over how good it is, and I was not expecting it to be that good. I wasn't expecting it to be on a year-end list, and perhaps that's foolish of me to think that they would drop the ball again. But if you haven't heard it, just have a listen to it. If you were into anything like I don't know, like if you like post metal, black metal, but you also like indie. Deafheaven's has been a band that has done that sort of thing for about 12 years now. It all started with Sunbather, which is the masterpiece of their career, but this is going to stand up in those sort of albums. When the book is closed on Deafheaven, people will look at this album as one of their best. So get onto that. Number 7, Model Actress, Pirouette. Model Actress, unbelievable post-punk band. It's like post-punk disco with propulsive beats. Cynical lyrics. It's just dirty and grimy and makes you just want to dance for like 8 hours straight. I went back to this so many times, and I just I can't get enough of it. I've rinsed it pretty hard. So there's not a lot to say about this. Just look at it. Just have a look at it. If you've listened to the first track and you like it, you'll know what you're in for pretty much. So that's my number 7. Number 6, R&B songwriter, producer, Nourished by Time, The Passionate Ones. And this one was one that came up real late in the year for me. I hadn't heard it since till a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away at how this thing sounded. It had these dizzying synths that like trickled throughout the songs, and it just these 90s R&B grooves that were just unbelievably done, just impeccably done. The production is so good. The drums are crisp. The lyrics are they seem so easy, but they're so introspective at the same time. Like, I've never heard anything of this caliber really in sort of 2025. Even this like neo soul stuff, like that I can think of. There's nothing that's touching this right now. And if this guy continues on this trajectory, I mean, there's no reason why he can't pull out something similar to like a Maxwell or D'Angelo style album. Like, it's got the hallmarks of all that stuff, and I don't even think even though it sounds like that stuff, it's not even derivative of it. It's not even like a watered down version of it. It's like a like premium version of it. So if you like R&B, just get onto this. It's Nourished by Time, and the album is The Passionate Ones. Okay, so now we're at the business end of the list, and we have the top 5. And the top 5 was pondered over for a little bit, and what we came up with was basically this, and it goes from 5 to 1, from worst to best, I guess, with the countdown. And I'm going to go with my number 5 album, and it's going to be Never Enough by Turnstile. Turnstile are the band at the moment to be, as a guitar-based band. They are doing things that bands can only dream of doing right now. They are just, they're cutting through their hardcore leanings, and they're just transcending those. They're incorporating things into their music that is just, it comes up and you're just like, excuse me? Like, there are things that are coming up in Never Enough that I haven't heard from bands like this, and the production is just crisp. It is absolutely brilliant production. It doesn't feel like the album's runtime, even though it's not a long album. It's just, you listen to it and then you just put it back on again. Like, I just cannot believe the quality of this album. Just from Never Enough all the way through to the end, it's never enough. I just can't believe it. Like, it's so good. And they will be doing arenas soon. I know they're doing bigger venues now, but like, this is their time. Like they are cooking right now, and let's just hope that their next release, they don't take as long as following up, because my God, people are frothing for Turnstile right now. So Never Enough, absolutely stellar. My number 4, Eusexia by FKA Twigs. Eusexia is a sensual house cabaret. That's the way I describe it. It is at times sensual and ugly. It is at times slow, fast. It is at times pretty, ugly. It is at times contemplative, and some other times crude. There's so many things going into this, and I feel like FKA Twigs should be in the vanguard of artists that are doing pop in the most experimental way. She should actually be spoken about more than she is. And she is getting spoken about a lot in critic circles and indie circles and things like that. But I think that she should really be spoken about right up there with people like Björk, Kate Bush, just people like that, Tori Amos. She's just unbelievable. Eusexia is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And my key track is Drums of Death. I love that album. Sticky's good too. There's so many great songs on this. There's not a skip on it. Not a skip on it. It's fantastic. Do yourself a favour and get onto this if you haven't heard it. And listen to the Afterglow edition as well. I'm not a huge fan of, artists tacking on extra songs, whatever, but the Afterglow edition of this is really good too. So I highly suggest you have a look at that as well. Alright, it's really getting real now, and I want to say that I didn't expect this to be here, but I also didn't expect this artist to not be on the list if they drop this year. So this is Oneohtrix Point Never with the album Tranquilizer. So I have a long history with him. Daniel Lapotin, I don't know how to say it. Just one of the greatest ambient musicians of the last 25 years. Like, just literally finding sounds, and he's just weaving his magic with this. This album, is based off of old library sound CDs, and stuff that you can, like sound effects packs that you can't get anymore. And he's repurposed them into his own compositions, and it's just absolutely stunning what he's been able to do with it. This is easily... No, I'm not going to say easily. It is his best work since Garden of Delete and R+7. Like, there's just no competition. Like, listen to Life World. That is a fantastic track. Front to back, I just have gone back to this several times. It is so good. You can have it on in the background. You can have it on headphones. You can... Yeah, it's just applicable for every single occasion. You probably wouldn't play it at a party. It is an ambient album. But this was a surprise because I was not expecting a release this strong, and he's just done it again. And he's just going to continue putting out stuff like this. He's going to continue doing just top tier film scores as well. And I want to listen to whatever he does because I just think he's absolutely phenomenal. So Oneohtrix Point Never, Tranquilizer is the number 3. The top 2 albums reflect not only the 2 albums that I listened to the most this year, but they also reflect... One of them reflects the changing of the guard in the rock genre. And the other one kind of leans on acts similar to him from the past, but what he does is he takes things from those artists and ideas from those artists and actually makes them like 10 times better. And so let me talk about first the number 2 album, which is Getting Killed by Geese. So rock needs something to prosper. Rock isn't dead, in contrary to what people like Gene Simmons say. It's just that good rock bands aren't at the forefront of mainstream music anymore and haven't been for quite some time. Now, if there's going to be any nudge in the right direction for rock bands, it's going to be through bands like Geese, or Squid, or Fontaines DC, or Shame. It's going to be through bands like this that rock will start to get back up in the forefronts of listeners. But what we've got with Geese, and what they've been able to do is create a sound which sort of blends indie rock with like post-rock, swampy blues, classic rock, post-punk, experimental. You know, they've been able to put this amalgam of these things together and create something that's just refreshing for this time. And Cameron Winter is the songwriter, singer-songwriter. He put out his own album late last year called Heavy Metal, or early this year, I can't remember. I didn't put it on this list because I think it was actually made last year. But he is the front man of this group, and to say that he's probably a generational songwriter is not hyperbole, because if you've got songs like Taxes and Getting Killed and Trinidad, if you've written songs like that, and the songs that came out on his solo album and everything that came out on sort of the other releases that Geese have done, there's no argument that he is, and he will be, one of the best songwriters of this current crop of musicians coming up. From front to back, it's just the influences, you know, there's influences that range from like post-punk stuff like Pere Ubu, right through to like sort of like early 70s Stones, like Exile on Main Street Stones. Like there's lots of things, like Tom Waits. There's so many different influences in here that they just bring together. They bring together cohesively, and it shouldn't even work, a lot of it. Like you listen to some of these tracks and it's like, this is about to just fucking come apart. This is about to come apart at any minute now, and it's landmark. This is a moment in time. This is how I felt about Fontaines DC last year. It is a landmark time for this band, and they are going to continue doing things, and I think they'll get better as they go along, because they're only young too, and they've been around for a couple of years, and my god, it is exciting to be alive when Geese are making music. So that is my number 2. I want to give some honourable mentions to Alfredo, The Alchemist. I want to give honourable mentions to a few others. This year's Mogwai release was really good. There are a bunch of other ones that were quite good as well. Water From Your Eyes had a really good album too. That got nudged out by a few things at the end of the list. Other ones I can't think of at the moment, but there was like a lot of good music this year. It wasn't like 2024 where it was like bang, 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 bang. It wasn't quantity, but it was quality, you know. And the album that I went back to the most this year was Loner by Barry Can't Swim. And when you think about EDM and almost, I consider some of the EDM artists to be like composers and conductors, kind of, in a way. And so what I'll point to is acts like the Chemical Brothers and Aphex Twin, Boards of Canada, Fatboy Slim, The Prodigy. Okay, so now we have an access point for this. So Barry Can't Swim takes ideas from lots of these different acts. A lot of it is sort of stemmed in like big beat, 90s big beat stuff, and he interpolates all these ideas with spoken word dialogues in some of these tracks that are, while often delivered deadpan, are just extremely profound for some reason. It sort of feels like you're levitating a lot of the time listening to it. And there's a genius use of groove and funk, and there's Afrobeat sounds, funk sounds. There's just, you know, there's lots of global sounds in this thing. it. I've listened to this so many times. I just cannot. I know it front to back. Like, it is unbelievable what he was able to do. Uh, Compared to when will we land from 2023, it's just gone like 10 times better. Like as if you could imagine that he did it. And I was lucky enough to see a set that he did at Laneways and the last Laneways that happened, and I just came out of it just like, I'm like, this is unbelievable. This is one of the best DJ producers in EDM right now, like, hands down. Like, the concept is great. You know, it's almost reminds me a little bit of the idea of modern Malaise, like, as in, like, I'm trying to be everything to everyone. I'm trying to do lessons. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm like, you know, there's monologues where he speaks about going bowling, you know, and it seems so mundane, but it's just so profound at the same time. He's like putting this stuff in there. This sort of Scottish guy just like talking over these sounds. It's just unbelievable. Like, I just cannot recommend it enough. I've just listened to it so many times. I've listened to Kimpton, the single off this album. I've listened to that at least 80 times this year. Like I just can't get enough. So what do you think? Comment down below. I can barely speak anymore because I've spoken for so long. But what do you think of that? Like, comment, what were your favourite albums of the year? Did I miss any? Was there any that should have been higher or lower? Should it be done different? Should it be counted up or counted down? 2025. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you in 2026. Ciao for now.